Man, got some new sound effects. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Geniuses working on the game. Welcome to the show with me, your host, Dr. Mike G, CJTV. Yep, it's summertime. Everybody's rocking and rolling, getting that life ready for the summer. But there are special people getting that life ready for the summer, too. Organized, disorganized. I know it's summertime. Let's cover the beginnings. Downloads, 2,322. Whew. That's a lot for an academic show. You know, a lot of research, a lot of stuff that goes out here. All the researchers are on summer vacation. A lot of them are busy. Some of them are on internships with state investigative agencies, PDs, SOs, sheriff's departments, sheriff's office for those that don't know. Some for Fed agencies seeking it out, fighting for that position. We know how it is. The alphabet soup, got to figure it out, right? Is what it is. 39,000 plus views. Man, that's pretty good for a research show. Pretty cool, pretty cool, pretty cool. So, let's talk about the episode tonight. Serial killers. Yeah. The birth, the binary, the organized, the unorganized. But before we get started here, the actual research is out. It's a literature review. It's pretty cool. It's pretty neat. It's right there on Facebook, and it's right there on Indeed. Yeah, LinkedIn. Indeed, LinkedIn. Not the Indeed. Yeah, LinkedIn, you know, Indeed, same damn thing. Everybody's looking for a job. Everybody's looking for something. Everybody's got it going. Go download it, or you can go to our Facebook page. You can get it off the old superstar version of Facebook, or you can get it on the fantastic version of the N. Yep. The Indeed, LinkedIn. Everybody's looking for something. So go download it. It's a PDF. It's pretty good, man. Pretty good. Had a couple of people review it. You always got mixed reviews, especially those people in the world of forensic psychology and behavioral anesthetics of evaluation and assessment. Yeah, but you can't tell who the psychopaths are sometimes, right? That's why we're here. The educational TV for you in the intranet. The intranet. So let's get started and let's, set the mood. So, serial killers. Everyone loves a good serial killing. Everyone loves the TV show. Everyone loves to watch the mind-boggling BAU. Everybody likes the guns and the people show up right before the trauma happens. But that's not how it works in the real world. Period. It's a TV show. In the early 80s, the FBI, interviewed 36 convicted sexual murderers and created a simple split. Period. Simple. And it had nothing to do with being sexually aroused or being, in layman terms, horny. It had nothing to do with attraction to the same sex or opposite sex, however one would identify in, the super 2020 to 26. Had nothing to do with that. It was organized versus unorganized. The two-box model became the foundation, period. Done over. Modern criminal profiling. Everybody likes a good profiler, right? I want to go work for the profilers. I like those people. What do you want to do? Well, Dr. Gurley, I want to go work for the FBI Behavioral Analysis Unit. Well, first you need to lose about 80 pounds and do some PT. Yes. Watch Fit or Fat. Organized killers, right? They were described as planners who bring weapons, hide bodies, blend into society. Kind of like a wolf in sheep's clothing, right? Something you would never think of. The people in your own life, those that are trigger responsive off of the manipulation of their own words, the victimology, the penology of themselves, held in their own container of trauma. Yeah, organized. It takes skill. It takes watching CJTV's episode of Narcissism and developing a foundation of that pseudo-sadist acronym, right? How to build yourself into that profile. Organized killers were seen as impulsive, leaving messy crime scenes. No, they were not. When the two plateaus were actually created and evaluated and put into a perspective, the disorganized killers were the ones that were identified. Yeah, dropping evidence all over the place like a ice cream from a hot slushie. Yeah, just everywhere. Attacking people they knew in chaotic bursts, starting with linguistic. And in 2026, it starts with what? Social media, the text, that one threat, I know what you're doing kind of deal. Well, thank you. You know what I'm doing. That's great. I know what you're doing too. Yeah. Pseudo, self, service of self to affect others. Now, this model created by the FBI became famous. Unfortunately, I wouldn't want to say, as famous as Texas's version of, active shooter that the FBI decided to take over and flamboyantly mess up, break, destroy. But that model became famous, right? Through books, TV shows, publications, lecturers, professors, people that visited Fleet C, the Federal Law Enforcement Officers Training Academy in Glencoe, also Quantico, to teach all of these things, these vagrantly, listen to me, flamboyant opinions. Now, we're not dogging any of them. We're not putting any of them down because the FBI created it, not the academic socialite of forensic psychology or behavioral analysis or assessment, right? Two different entities, two different creatures. Yes. But yet, the unrepresented samples, what scientists call the opportunity sampling, which means the FBI talked to killers who agreed to cooperate, not in random groups though. They were distinct, they were identified, they were the Ted Bundys, yeah, the ones that everybody wanted to hear the reason why Not the guy that killed people and made, Chow Chow Yorkie chili in Louisiana. Everybody wants the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Bill from Texas. Everybody wants the infamous and the famous, but no one focuses on the pseudo, the ones that are under the table, the ones that no one knows through name. Setting the stage, right? The FBI model is still taught in police academic settings, in agencies, but modern studies, as of now, within the past 6 years, the past 6 years here on the show, we try to keep it relevant, credibility, validity, time for peer review. But models in the past 6 years, studies have shown that most killers display both organized and disorganized traits at the same time. Think of you in your own life. Think of you when you get pissed off when somebody posts something on Facebook and it's not about you. You assume it's about you. So the pseudo you takes over. Now the disorganization happens. Now the organizing of the target. Just an example. It's an academic show, right? I talk about everything here. The opportunity sampling, okay? This is research that's flawed, where you only study people who volunteer, which skews the result, right? It skews the meta-analysis. It skews the detail. It skews everything that someone wants to present as credible or having true validity. The opportunity killers operate off of opportunistic principle. It's kind of like the big TV thief at the mall. You're out Christmas shopping, big TV in the back of the car. It's opportunity. One may not be represented as a non-opportunistic killer. How many of you have thought these insidious, insane thoughts? It's not illegal to want someone dead. It's not illegal to cognitively evaluate and amygdala and frontal lobe, just hippocampus and memory system, develop a means, manner, and method with true intent to kill someone. No, it's not illegal. It's not illegal to lie about it on a lie detector test and or voice stress test either, if you know how to manipulate that. Pretty simple, right? One would think. But to topple down the top-down classifications of organized and unorganized, this is where the experts create the first. Yeah, the first. And then the force, the case, the first. Rather than letting the data reveal itself. The first. The ones that are famous, the ones that everybody wants to interview, the ones that get the clout, the ones that get the mail, the ones that get the wives while they're in prison, the female serial killers. We got a show about that. CJTV, look it up, was in the past. Yeah, female serial killers even get those husbands, those constituent other love affairs, and have them through linguistic venue. Yeah. One would think, that love affair, that marriage, that relationship, that organized, that unorganized has to have some physical, kinetic to it, some touch, some sex, some love. No, it's not the way it works. Mentally diminished, not incapacitated, different from you. The linkage, the blindness, the things that people miss when they're listening to the experts, when they're listening to the ones that actually say, I know what I'm talking about. Listen to me. Thine should model themselves after me in the world of criminal investigation, searching for a serial killer, right? The one that is organized and unorganized. It's kind of the top down. Yeah, you've got the top down. You've got the top dogs of the serial killing world at your disposal that were willing to have that conversation and go into detail. But the detail is the information that the serial killer wanted the researcher to know. Oh my gosh. Kind of like interview and interrogation, right? Interview's that symbiotic circle. The interrogation is accusatory, but during the time of the research for serial killers, and organized and unorganized means, manner, intent, method, MO, opportunity, non-opportunity, devised with intent, time, length, plan, reason. Yeah. It's a top-down classification. The serial killer only gave the information they wanted the researcher to know and to publish and to put out there to enable the popularity, continue the superstardom of the serial killer, the lineage. Thus the TV shows, the copycats, the samplers. The linkage blindness exists When the police fail to connect multiple murders, I've seen it. Trust me, I've seen it. When the police fail to connect multiple murders together to the same individual, the same offender, the crime scenes look too different from one another. That's why there's not enough to serialize the TV show of, hey, one's practicing in one's fundamental principle, one's killing in their own method, one's doing it for a specific reason. We're going to talk about those reasons tonight. The empirical validation of the research. This means testing a theory with real data and statistics, right? Empirical validation. Numbers. 2 and 2 is 22. 2 plus 2, some would say 4, if you're hooked on phonics or whatever it would be. Something the original FBI model largely forgot, lost, lacked, because it wasn't created and introduced into the interview process for the scale model of the two methodologies of organized and unorganized. Yeah, the statistical data. Oh my gosh, why? Because those ones that were serial killers volunteered. What about the ones that did not want to be interviewed? What about the ones that were already put to death? What about the ones that were lost in the transitory system of the federal penal system, the state penal system? Not going to find those, right? Or those ones that no one finds interesting. The ones that one would think at a simple law enforcement level that couldn't put two scenes together. The one that would think is, it's too simplistic. It's not popularized enough. It's not enough to make ourselves look good in the world of academic research and to publicize it under the name of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the FBI, and have those follow on and teach. Wrong. The empirical data was missing. Still is today. Yeah. At any given time, multiple serial killers working in the United States, even in 2026, have not even been identified yet by any law enforcement agency. Why? The structure. Social media, Hollywood is giving all of the information out like an ice cream sundae. But, it's Hollywood. It's all distorted. It's all crazy. It's all fabricated. Malicious intent to make money. Yeah, researchers, Chopin and a few others. Chopin was a researcher. Factors influencing the use of forensic awareness, strategies in sexual homicide. Yep, that came in the Journal of Justice. Yes, 2020. Let me see. Edition 71, article 101709. Give me an email. I'll send you the actual link. I think it was used in the research too. Download the paper. Facebook. Or go into, Indeed, say, the professional Facebook. Sometimes not so professional. Organized killers often described as methodological planners. Yeah, with the average or above average of intelligence who live seemingly normal, cliche, step-by-step, day-to-day lives, holding normal jobs. Something that doesn't grab the attention of the commoner in society. But yet, the sexual offender, serial killer, still has the capability to maintain relationships, love, intimacy. Hey, I'm the guy, I'm the girl for you. Yes, love me. Without even showing a trigger or a cue of pseudo-sadism. I don't know. Sadist, sexual desire, power, conformity, intent. Yeah, none of those are even shown. It's like, I didn't know little Bobby was a serial killer. There's no way Judy did it, man. She sleeps every night with an applehead chihuahua. She's peaceful. She's full of love. Doesn't work that way with a female serial killer, now does it? Not the male-driven plateau. But it's 2026. We have what the DSM-5 calls sexual misidentity, dysphoria, LGBTQ, heterosexual. Ooh, the world is twisting now. Now think about the time frame when the FBI did the model. Empirically skewed. Done. Over. Crap. It is what it is. These offenders, all right, across the board, often show forensic awareness, the ones that are organized, meaning they take deliberate steps to avoid leaving evidence. Something simple like fingerprints, DNA, murder weapons at the scene, dirt transfer, latent footwear impression, tool impressions. Yes, tool impressions in the wood. People are like, well, you can't do that with a steel crowbar trying to, break through a door or a window. Oh, pro tell, yes, you can. It's called padding. Yes. Crack it, tear it up. Well, we're not going to teach criminals how to, break into things, but yes, it can happen. Forensic awareness. AI. Forensic awareness, teaching the AI forensic spectrum across the globe, across the world. Who do you think's using it? The organized one, learning how to confuse and baffle the Clouseaus, the investigators, the inspectors. Who in the hell came up with that term inspector in the United States? I can't stand agencies in the U.S. that use that. What are you, the Pink Panther now? I know several agencies that this is inspector, chief inspector. It's investigator, detective. An inspector. These offenders often show that forensic awareness through linguistic venue, but law enforcement doesn't pick up on it in the interview and interrogation because the words that law enforcement are used to using to show or impose the superstardom of the intellectual value, it's front foremost in themselves to gain the information, but they miss it. They miss the physical kinesics, therefore they miss the linguistic kinesics and never tie it together. Research on the sadist sexual homicides. Yeah, all death is homicide. Manner and means establishes. Serial killers have multiple manner and means, intent, desire, means. Several reasons. That's why the FBI model is skewed. It's no longer organized or disorganized. It's cognitive. It's mathematical. It's awareness. It's education, the brain, scholarly ability. Yeah. Murderers were the killer, so to say, to themselves. But the murderer is sexually aroused by something other than sex. Not the body, not the words, not the smell, not just the full pre-tell of this is what arouses me. It's the pain, it's the suffering, and it doesn't have to be physical. It could be linguistic, the fear, the arousal, the pseudo-sadistic behavior, self-security, self-worth, self-esteem, self-meaning in the moment. It's the way it happens. But unfortunately, the TV shows in Hollywood, glamorize it. But in the real world, killers that are serial killers and murderers that use the sexual arousal of excitement, endorphin, the rush, self-appreciation, self-gratification off of the pain, the power. It's kind of like the gentleman rapist versus the non-gentleman rapist. It shows these killers often plan extensively, bringing weapons, bringing objects, bringing things to keep souvenirs, glass bottles for urine. Yes, urine. The smell, the memory. Everybody's like, ooh, pee smells, pee stinks. Those of you that know, sometimes urine has that independent self-smell. Things to take home. Blood samples, skin samples, hair samples, sometimes eyes, fingernails, phalanges. Yes, something to remember the moment, self-gratification, self-lust, because it's not about the sexual excitement. It's about the sexual arousal through the suffering, through the pain, emotional, physical, the screaming, the torment, the destruction of the evidence at the crime scene. Why? The crime scene, it's there, but a lot of the evidence is gone now. And you can't get the sadist evidence psychologically from the victim. The victim's dead. What are you going to do? Call an Indian shaman? Yeah, they're not shamans, people. Despite the stereotype of the criminal mastermind, all right? Not all organized killers are geniuses. They're not. That's like saying the garbage man is a genius. Some garbage people, female, men, whatever, the employee that picks up the garbage in the big long back. Big long back means garbage truck. Big long garbage truck. Yeah. Some of you, law enforcement, you know what I'm talking about. Interviewing somebody, well, I saw a long back. Yep, it's a garbage truck. Organized killers that are not geniuses, but many simply repeat the day-to-day function of work. The work, the life they choose to live, teaches them how to function and learn in the act of murder. Yes, the mistakes daily, as minimal as it is. The garbage man. You don't want to leave any trace. How would somebody know that I was there to grab your garbage pile? Well, the garbage man is going to actually monitor their own movement, not be traced. Footwear impression, touch, gloves, smell, hair follicle, hairnet, balaclava, cameras. Yeah, the day-to-day life of the serial killer, making mistakes across the board, day-to-day life to improve the ability to kill effectively and get away with it and escape while being aware of the forensic evidence being left behind. Setting the stage for the organized one. The organizational label. It's often linked to sexual sadism. Sometimes it's linked, sometimes it's not. But that's within the organized when we're talking about research on sexual homicide. But it doesn't involve sexual lust or gratification. It's the excitement. Anyone ever seen the Blue Chew commercials? Yeah, the commercials for the pills that help ED, the erectile dysfunction. I was there, but I was thinking too hard, so I performed badly, or I couldn't get into the moment. Now all of the pills and the medication are including things that are psychological bound, in effect. The brain, the mind. Well, the serial killer is already there, setting the stage. Has nothing to do with arousal. It's organized. Society often misidentifies this. The organized label is often linked to sexual sadism, yes. But modern research shows that sadistic killers vary widely in how they commit their crimes. Even if it's sexual in nature, it could be sexual battery, penetration, fear, linguistics, video, audio. A touch doesn't have to happen at all. Oh my gosh. Some people would say, this guy's lying, he's not true. Well, in the world of porn, is there not blunt force trauma that causes orgasmic reaction? Is there a historical venue of forced rape, penis to vagina, or the female victim climaxes and has an orgasm? Yes, documented, proven, research, even within law enforcement agencies, state, municipality, counties, federal. Do your own research. We should do a research show on that. Forensic awareness, the direct, deliberate action to avoid detection. Yeah. It's sexual satisfaction without touching the victim at all. The mind is deeper. The mind works. Modus operandi, the MO. Now, you always hear this in Hollywood. No, they're going outside of their MO, or they're staying in their MO. Habitual method. Committing the same crime. That's what that is. Organized and unorganized in 2026. It differs now. It's not old school. There's too much out there for people like you to chit-chat about. Social media. Hollywood. Let's have a good screenwriter that is educated, has a degree. How many people would go to a university and get a bachelor's degree or a master's degree or a doctoral PhD degree in CJ, forensics, law enforcement, and settle for that crappy paycheck or that crappy pension that law enforcement agencies offer? Versus, hey, you've got some experience, you've got the education, let's bring you to Hollywood so that you can create the MO for our spectacular TV series. You gonna turn that down? No, you're not. Where do you think the serial killer learns the MO from? It's like using a specific weapon. The specific weapon is the TV. The specific weapon is society. The specific weapon is self-research, social media. What puts someone in fear? What gives arousal? What gives self-gratification in the moment? It evolves over time. Serial killing is not a spree of the moment. Not a real serial killer. The scene staging. Now remember, we're talking about pseudo-sadist sexual gratification. We're not talking about for $1 revenge. Serial killers don't serial kill for revenge. Their pride, empathy, dolphin-free tuna. No, it's deeper. Think of Whitechapel, Jack the Ripper. Watch a few episodes in the past. We've talked about that. Crime scene staging. This is when an offender deliberately arranges the scene to mislead police, such as making the murder look like a robbery or suicide, or even something under divert suspicion. Sex crimes are the easiest. Yes, the easiest. There's no physical evidence of sexual assault, but it was a sexual serial killing. The self, amygdala, frontal cerebral cortex, episodic memory recall of what one witnessed. Think of Jack the Ripper. Possible scenario, Jack the Ripper watching his or her mother, yes, his or her, having sex, love, the violence, the interaction, the fear, the conquest, the asphyxia, the choking, all of the BDSM skills involved in the excitement and the kink. Now it's normal, it's natural. It's kind of like growing up with a narcissist that tells you they know what you're doing. When the offender deliberately sets up the scene, there's intent behind it. There's skill behind it. Much more skill than law enforcement at times, because law enforcement skips it. They can't assign 1 to 2 to 3 scenes together. The detection avoidance, that's all this serial killer is practicing. Strategies used to lower the risk of simply getting caught. But in 2026, how many of you enjoy the good crime episode? How many of you enjoy the good TV show that makes you panic and fear? The horror movie, the bump in the night, the what's in the dark, what's in the water that makes you scared, excites you, pushes that dopamine, that endorphin. For a serial killer that is a sexual sadist or pseudo-self-sexual sadist, bringing harm to themselves to enable them to bring harm to another that they intend to kill. Self-manipulation, self-divergent and non-divergent. You're putting yourself into that situation every time you pick up the old fantastic TV remote. You're normalizing it for yourself. And you're even missing the forensic traces that could be strategized to reduce. If you were to ever be a victim, I know. This guy said I could be a victim. Yes, this guy just did. Everybody has the potentialness to be a victim. Disorganized killers. Oh my gosh, let's go to the number 2, where the FBI flawed, and it's 2026. Disorganized killers act on impulse. All right, it's like a Christmas Wookiee in the parking lot breaking into a car to steal a TV they see. Often taking victims that are just simply in the wrong place at the wrong time. Self-gratification, not even lustful, not even real sexual, not even real sadist. Self-gratification. It's not planned. There's no intent. It's a crime of opportunity. It's not organized, but yet, in some ways, it is organized. One specifically puts themselves in a location knowing that the possibility of the target of opportunity could appear. It's kind of like going hunting, right? You don't just walk out in the woods or just walk out with no plan. Hopefully something will run by and I can shoot it and skin it and process it and take it home and eat it for brunch or Christmas dinner, or I don't know. Think about Bill in Texas. Human meat and chili. Opportunistic. Didn't set it up. Waited on people to come. Oh yeah, crime scenes that are chaotic with the weapon left behind. Evidence scattered everywhere. Bodies left exactly as they fell, like a rock out of your hand. Why? It's smart. Yes. The weapon there. Leave it all. The evidence behind, but it's selective evidence. Organized, disorganized. Think Hollywood, think your social media, think your broadcast, think your subscriptions to true crime. They're watching it too with you. Leave it behind. Yeah, leave it. There's no fingerprints on it. It's an exotic knife made for just clobbering the enemy on the battlefield, but I used it at a murder. One of my many homicides, manner and means in my serial killing spree of the land. Why? Fear. Law enforcement. It's diminishing and changing the MO, the opportunity. But yet, it's easy to shift law enforcement. It's 2 scenes. There's no MO here. They're different. So do you want to be organized or unorganized as a serial killer? Research shows anger-driven and expressive homicides murders, death, manner, means fit this type of pattern. Unorganized, angry, mad. Do you walk around mad every day? The serial killer has a normal job, a husband, a wife, children, dogs, cats, a fish. They're not mad every day. Now, I know some of you say, I know somebody that's angry every minute of the day. That doesn't make them a serial killer, right? Normalization, trauma, the hippocampus, the amygdala's ability to recover these things. Something has to trigger the anger. Kind of like a bad response on social media with your friends. Made you mad. You were angry. I want to kill that mother. Beep. Yeah. I want to kill my own family member. It's not illegal to think of that. I want to beat him down. The expressive, the angry, the emotion in the episode. Where killing erupts from rage and humiliation and frustration, it's not a form of planned detail. It's unorganized, but yet within the unorganized thought, one spends time. It's a crime of opportunity. I've got to organize it now. I've got to do it now, but I've had time to figure this out and think about it because I've thought about doing this to little Steve. But now this stranger's here. I'm going to apply everything I've done and thought about with little Steve to this stranger. And there's nothing organized about that. It's opportunity. So it confuses law enforcement when it's unorganized, unplanned opportunity, and law enforcement sees it as unorganized. Well, of course I'm going to leave the knife there. Yes, because I'm going to have set the stage for carrying the big butcher knife. Cleaned, processed, sterilized, nothing, no epiphilia, no hair fiber trace. I've got it in a bag inside the coat. Not even hair fiber from the lint in my pocket from the nice air fluffy lint. What are those things called you throw in the dryer and it makes everything smell good? No transfer, not even the transfer from the Chihuahua or your dog's hair from your dryer to your own clothing. Yes, sanitized, still in the pocket. Opportunity. I could grab the knife and not even leave a fingerprint because the plastic bag and rip the plastic bag and drop the knife and walk off with the bag. Voila, done, gone. Straight through the bag. Oh my gosh, look at this guy. Some of you are thinking, this guy's telling people how to kill people. It's not rocket science. It erupts from rage, but yet there is organization to it. Pre-organization, right? Contrary to the old FBI popular profiles, disorganized killers are not always low IQ, dumb loners. Intellectually smart because they have to set this thing up knowing that an opportunity is going to come. It will be disorganized in inception and creation, but during the moment, during the incident, it can be organized at the same time. Planning, plotting, skill, methodology, knowing how to avoid the detectors, forensic clues to get them caught. Harder to spot in normal society. When you go to work next week after the holiday. Happy holiday, everyone. Happy military holiday. Think about the one standing next to you that could be that organized, unorganized killer. And the setting the stage, increasingly viewed as a monetary gain. It is. It's a monetary gain set through panic, set through rage, the fixed personality. Do you know anyone that methodically thinks a plan out? Thinks about their day? I do. It's called law enforcement. It's a pageantry in the moment to put the gear on every day. Yes, the pageantry. Especially for you FTOs that have that new FTOE. This whole center console's mine. Don't touch it. FTOs know what I'm talking about. Yeah. New investigators training or being trained by senior investigators. The knowledge that's there, the pageantry, the construct of putting on the uniform, the body armor, the gear, the equipment, the belt, the boots, the shoelaces, tuck tie, the PT. Everything is the perfect endowment of the development of a organized, non-organized serial killing spree. Well, I'm just giving some of you something to think about, right? The expressive violence, rage, humiliation, being used as a tool to achieve a goal, money, gratification, self-interest, self-worth. The serial killer sees it the same way. But the gain is completely different. The gain is self-motivating to set the stage even deeper. Find you. The reactive aggression. Reactive aggression from a serial killer is aggressive behavior that is spontaneous. It's not wrote out like a script from Hollywood, a Hollywood trigger. Psychological. Metamorphosis. It's changing. Grows in the mind. The visual aesthetics, the frontal lobe stimulation trigger the immediate frustration, the threat, the excitement, the self-compensation of sexual lust that is not going to be gratified through touch, feel, or orgasm. Yeah. This guy said it. Psychological. The threat. It's a plan. It's productive. It's aggression against you. It's aggression against the one that it's carried out on. Forethought goes into the organized and the unorganized. No unorganized serial killer goes out unorganized. I hate to break the news to you. It doesn't happen that way. How many of you carry a gun? Well, I'm licensed. I've got a card. I live in a 2A friendly state. Carry it open. There's pageantry to you putting that platform on. Potential serial killer. Aggression, angry, mad, revenge. Amygdala stimulation, hippocampus drawer of trauma opens up. Snap. Oh my gosh, the overkill aesthetic of it. The overkill goes into organization and unorganization. This means inflicting far more injury than necessary to cause death. Inflicting far more injury to the self of the serial killer to enable the oneself to inflict more harm, to create death. It goes both ways, organized, unorganized. There's an organization to it. It's a crime of opportunity. So here's the big problem in all of this. The FBI had a great thought. Organized, unorganized. All kind of methodologies of research. But the statistical venue of those being interviewed was lacking. Arousal, anger, the need to vent or just rage on the body of the victim. Yeah. The victim's dead. Well, let's just keep baiting it and hacking it. The blitz attack. Let's dismember it. The sudden amputation of the appendages, the phalanges, post-mortem, necessary to cause death? No, the body's already dead. Single, often sometimes with the extensive overkill, it's an emotional arousal. Dispensive anger. Self-pleasure. One would say diminishing the dopamine. Diminishing the adrenaline, the calm down. Take it out on a punching bag, little Timmy. Well, nope, the serial killer's not going to do that. It's going to be the reactive aggression and overkill to vent the rage on the victim. The blitz attack after the moment of death. Yes, the blitz attack also applies into the blitz attack of the victim not knowing what the heck's going on because the victim is in total euphoria of self in the moment, not aware. It's kind of like those that, well, I got spiked with a Mickey or, some narcotic in my drink. You weren't in the moment. You were obliterated cognitively. I didn't say obliterated by alcohol or you got just cognitively. You're gone. The thought, the surprise. Now you're victimized. Now the blitz is there. Now the one wanting to dispense of the rage, the emotion, the gratification is going to do it with you. Why? You've helped set the stage. You've aided in the organization. You've opportunityed the perfect, opportunistic, unorganized serial killer to now become organized. Quickly, at the snap of a finger, because of you. Yes. Go download the paper. Get a read on it. Mike Gurley, PhD at... Let me see, where's it at? Where's that? The ticker's gone by. Dr. Mike G. Yep, Dr. Mike Gurley. CJTV. Lowercase JTV. Go download it. Give it a read. Goes into a lot more detail than I've talked about here tonight. So remember, when you're out there in that almond gala of yourself and your self-love and your self-worth is out there and you're having that good time and nothing is opportunistic, you've planned it. You're out there with the boys and the girls having fun. Or there's someone out there that's either planned it or there's someone out there that is unorganized in the moment, but in the past they were unorganized, and they're set for the unorganization of the moment of opportunity. And you just may be or find yourself in the moment of that serial killer's moment of unorganized, unplanned opportunity that now turns into an organized event. Be safe.